Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Welcome to Overpass. We had a knife run go in the favor of Ancient. Now stay or switch. I guess they never miss, huh? And so we'll head directly onto map number 2. It's getting late, obviously, but I got a co-caster. I bet he doesn't kiss me. So, Michael, North, pick it up, nuke, after making it so tight, looking victorious over there. Now we have to say really quickly before we head into this, Ancient is on an 11-0 streak on Overpass. Sounds juicy, doesn't it?
That is a very juicy stat to have. And starting on the CT side of things as well will certainly favor them moving forward. They've got a set of flashbangs already to mitigate any sort of rush potential, but Freddy B's immediately taken down. The flash didn't catch them at all, and now they're going to be able to hunt down the secondary player. Rusty had no hope in winning that duel. Already the bomb planted. Already some very strong positions in which Ancient can retake, but North have pushed forward and Disco Doppland's been found.
So Drake and Plopsky probably doing themselves a favor by trying to get a few more out. I don't realistically see this going their way. Volley knows now where Draken stands. Though Plopsky puts a bit of pressure now onto the north side. That's the pain you have to get. And the quad, well deserved for Kirby. Taking them all down, or nearly all. There's the 1-0.
Very sharp round from Kirby. We saw him start to wake up in the second half of the first map. Still bringing that forward, it seems, into Overpass. And I imagine we'll see predominantly SMG buy. Yeah, thankfully, Gade is on my side on that regard. Usually, when you see maybe 3 AKs brought forward, it kind of smells a bit like danger, especially when Ancient force buy into this. The Scout, if it's able to take out one of those rifles, there's not enough hands to cycle that into other players' positions. And now nades will be exchanged over towards the B-bombs, like Molotovs and smokes, and using them to counteract one another. Meanwhile, North are lurking up towards Connector. A lot of damage done, however, to Yuki and Gade.
And the Ancient sides still should not really have a chance, at least for this one. And I on purpose say for this one to prevail. So to say, it's dominance now striking from North. It gotta be. I mean, it should be no dominance now striking for North. No real doubt about it. And I like it a lot that they're that hesitant. I mean, they hear already the scout. This is not really a good sign, is it?
Yeah, not an ideal weapon to be facing, especially when Yugi and Gate are already tagged, right?
Right.
You don't want to be subjecting yourself to another Draken highlight reel.
Oh, definitely not. So slowly,
It seems like they made the right call here.
Yeah, they made it, and Volley is gonna surely go into the Hornet's nest. And as the Hornets are now trying to sting him down, North over on A, getting the bomb on the ground, and no real issue that's occurring with this. Well done and all good. North are getting for sure the second one. I mean, nothing speaks realistically against them, I would say. And yet again, I have to say, this lineup of Ancient is the perfect time to talk about. It's still very interesting, because officially Draken is still under contract with NIP. Plopsky still with Existence Galaxy. They unfortunately didn't let him go. So this basically means, right, that this cannot be an official team. Ancient is not an org, not officially an org. So first of all, considering that, I'm very impressed. And third of all, I'm just waiting until they get picked up by a real org. I mean, many say it's gonna be Godsend or just another Godsend. I don't know what it has to do with that, but we're gonna see. The sad part for me personally right here is, Michael, I doubt that this is gonna be a victory for Ancient. This is very early, right? Don't get me wrong. We're talking about this very early, but the competition difference is once more a thing for me. The wins they have picked up, the only one I find worth talking about was against Wendigo, 19-17, so overtime. Against Force, 16-11, well, and maybe against Gamer Legion, worth talking. When we don't talk about North, they beat Big, Vitality, Na'Vi, Mibir, Wendigo. I mean, Wendigo, by the way, 16-3. Those are just the names that once more make the difference to me. Nuke, though, looked very complicated already for North.
Yeah.
Could be going very similar here. Ouch.
However, they've still found an opening pick. Although they suffer a lot of damage on both Rusty and Draken to get that opening pick, they'll still have that advantage, and they still got the scout in play. If any more damage is done to these North players, it could certainly be a little bit devastating here for North. They're now grouping themselves up and setting up to hit this B bomb site. This is the weaker of the two sides. Ancient instead opting for more mid and A control. For now, they'll sit back and allow North to make their play. Draken holding at a distance with the scout as well.
AZ definitely wants to upgrade to the UMP. Reacts first of all Risley against Polopsky. And the player back on water could become a threat. AZ has to once more hold it down. With ease does that. And Ancient, they seemingly put them under pressure. It's very funny. This round yet again looked like it could have went the way of Ancient as well. Obviously didn't go that way, but still, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Ancient gonna deliver with their first buy. The first buy is just what matters so much, right?
Yeah, especially since Ancient opted for the force buy in the second round. You look at it being the best hope that they have of really contesting North, and even with them finding a couple of kills here, that's going to bode well for them. Freddy's not going to be able to survive and bring a weapon forward, but at the very least, to make sure that North have to reinvest in a few of these players. And we talk about the full buy. It's with every bit of utility that they could possibly want. Plopsky missing out on a couple of flashbangs, but by and large, they have the Molotovs and the smokes to prevent any sort of a faster play, which could lend itself to what North are bringing to this round, given that AZ still has an SMG in his hands. But we'll have to just see how this does play out. AZ may just be the scouting presence in the late stages of the round. Draken immediately a pick on towards Gade.
And that isn't immediately ideal. Valdi might run into another bit of a threat. I think the stone was actually denying him the access. And North sent already AZ quite far. I mean, he's the man with the Mac 10 in the end, so he has hardly anything to lose. And now I am waiting for Plopsky and Rusty to show us what they are made of. As one peak should take out the guys from North immediately. Plopsky with the right molly waits on to Monster as well. AZ allowed to die. More likely, they got an allowance from Plopsky himself, and so Kirby tries to turn things around. He's quite wounded as well. 127 HP on North.
Yeah, a lot of bullet holes remaining in these North players. Still alive by the skin of their teeth. One more bullet would do each and every one of them outside of Ugate. That's the AWP in hand. Still trying to have some impact with it. Plopsky taking the off angle as well. North are grouping up such that they can trade things out successfully, but it could line them up for them a spray down. And Plopsky, he seed the barrel of Yugi a couple of times now. Now will spring into action, take down the planter in Valde, and Yugi will answer right back. They've only got 2 players remaining, but each of them tagged up. The bomb dropped on towards the site. North are running to save.
Probably the best thing you can do here. North gotta get the first one away. The entry of Draken already put them on the back foot in the starting off the round, and ever since things started to look more sinister and sinister and sinister and sinister.
I swear I read a comment earlier on in the stream. Something about taking a shot every time you say that word.
Which word? Which word?
Sinister. That guy is probably absolutely hammered.
I actually like this because this very often helps me what words to reduce. It is just stuck on my hat sometimes. I'm very sorry. I can't do much about it. Sinister times for my own head.
Certainly a good round there for Ancient to be able to pick up, though. Be able to sort of wait things out and allow North to approach the site how they wanted to, but still finding the fix. Oh my goodness, what a sharp shot from Kjaerbye. Already immediately eliminated, and now North have a man advantage. Connector presence has been made, and although Kjaerbye's not going to be able to capitalize off of it, he's really only the lurking pressure over towards A. He's going to take a different angle, approach the site a different way, and Ancient may lose track of him.
There's the patience. Kjaerbye looking for that long control with him elevating himself. He definitely knows where this Godoplan is. Nearly getting the spray down. And as we're waiting this one out, Yugi knows exactly which angle to check. Gets then, not even Plavsky looked like a second for it, but Draken gotta be the hero over on the B side. Can't deny it any further, can he? No, most definitely not.
They can't really escape either. Kjaerbye has their fallback completely covered off. They have to deal with him before they can successfully save these weapons, and North are going to hunt for this immediately. They've already into very forward angles, and Kjaerbye's found Disco. Draken has to stagnate his play, has to move slowly to try and deal with this player, but Yugi has him covered at a distance, lands the headshot with the ult. And North make sure that there's no survivors as they pick up a fourth. I think we look to see more aggressive plays here from Ancient moving forward. So far, they've been playing on the bomb sites and not really taking any map control away from North. One of the small instances that we saw where they did get aggressive was when Draken first picked up that AWP on the CT side.
Oh man, you know, you have no idea how much I'd like to talk about AZ's SG553 right now. The Integrale. This is totally off topic, but as it is based on the Martini livery back in the 1970s from cars like, I think it was not the Porsche 935, but definitely the 3.0 RSR. Beautiful times. So as I have shifted very swiftly onto a different topic, I can say that North is firing on all cylinders. I think that is adequate. And Kjaerbye and co. most likely with the fifth if no major issue occurs. He swings a little wider and nearly finds Freddy B. Yet again, that P250. Oh, sees a bit of the head of AZ, and that could be the first frag found. Not happening though. And Gate and co. remain in control.
Well, they eventually does get dropped. AZ's down to low HP. Kjaerbye as well. Gate needs to do a little bit of heavy lifting here as Yugi is his only high HP teammate remaining as well. And in spite of all that damage that Connector has provided for the Ancient side, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to net too many frags off the back of it. Rusty now all alone. They still have that piece of the map under his belt. Kjaerbye, yeah, able to cut him off. I thought for sure that was going to be the first death that Kjaerbye had sustained, as I just picked up on the fact that he's yet to die in this third map. 6 rounds elapsed. Ancient have picked up one, but Kjaerbye had saved in the instance that they did. He still has not seen the game from another teammate's point of view. Hasn't had to subject himself to that spectator position. Absolutely respect that. Kjaerbye is a man who enjoys playing the game as opposed to dying and watching his teammates play.
Well, I appreciate the details. I'm gonna say it like that, Michael. I appreciate the details. I appreciate AZ for playing the Integrale. In the meantime, with the Integrale, he takes down Rusty in the end. Freddy's Arc shines in. And with such a kill, it all looks quite alright. More to come. This is the bomb down. And we still got 1 HP AZ left on the site, eliminated immediately. And this is looking somewhat dark, as Yugi's Opto might be able to strike anytime soon. He's desperately looking for the support of Kjaerbye.
He's still lurking in the back lines. He could potentially line up a backstab on towards these Ancient players. They don't seem suspecting of this at all. Disco, oh, he's now going to turn around.
No.
Kirby's taken down, and Yugi not long to follow. That was the way back into the round there for North. Very aware there was Disco Doppler. I think he just realized, turning around in the nick of time. A great performance there from Freddie B on the site.
I didn't necessarily expect that. You know, really have to say that. Because the thing is, right? It was then the problem by the bomb being dropped so far away from the actual action. And talking about the bomb again, this could Hofflin taking down the carrier. Gate is fast, ignores the op to some degree. And now Draken is in a bit of trouble, isn't he? No, he's not gonna. No! Oh, goodness gracious, Yugi! Alright, he got personal X-ray on, but Rusty's gonna knock on the back door.
Yugi just spots him out just as he's about to reposition towards long. Timing not quite working out here for Ancient. The backstab could have been lined up. That would have been the bomb dropped as well, but North are going to converge on the site. Freddy deploying a smoke, trying to eliminate some of the angles that Plopsky is exposed to, and he's actually still going to shine on through, taking him down through the edge of it. Yugi responds onto his teammate and Freddy, but now it's just Yugi. Up in hand, playing around these smokes, trying to find the right opportunity for an isolated duel, but Plopsky plays around it perfectly. They recover the AWP, they swap to the AK, Ancient up to number 3. Some very dangerous games being played from Ancient. I mean, we look to see them get more aggressive. That's exactly what we see in that round. But getting trapped in a really strange position. Draken in no man's land, and granted, it had to be Yugi that shot him straight through the wall just to get the response kill, but even still, he was very isolated, and that could have meant that us could have taken that site a little bit swifter had he gone down before repositioning into the bathrooms. North also objected to just pistols in the round, a bit of utility on AZ. Could set this up for some sort of a B execute, use these flashes to get some additional ground for these Glocks and P250s to create some space.
Valdi sneaks over Monster. It's going to be the first wave of the attack. Rusty tries to deny further access, but did they realize that the guy is water? I don't feel that they realized that there's a guy on water. Gate has to be eliminated anytime soon, and back on side, Rusty strikes when needed. North possibly, yeah, losing another round. No real surprise. This is the 4-5, and yet again, I mean, we have to mention, this is not a surprise, is it? North is a highly CT-sided team when it comes to Overpass, 60-40. Overpass itself is extremely CT-sided. There's no real surprises here.
I think the surprise, by and large, was that North got themselves into such an early lead on their T side. The ways in which they were taking the bomb sites, although they're sometimes by small discrepancies. I mean, they've survived with the majority players in most instances, but it's a very crucial kills found in for those North players. Ancient seem to now be responding on an individual level themselves. Some crucial multi-kills being found, and able to dodge as well the utility that North are deploying. Quite often these pop flashes, they were successful in the early rounds, but now Ancient are playing more anti-flash and predicting those sorts of plays. Not getting caught out quite as heavily. Now the full buy is here for North. This time, not going to have Yugi on the AWP, instead on a rifle alongside his comrades. And Disco Doppler aggressive in towards that playground position. Traded out, however. That was a set piece, it seemed, from Ancient as they set up the pop flash straight behind him as well. Some good initiative being taken by these CTs.
As you see right there, the problem is Freddie B. And as he sneaks through the back lines. Nobody's going to have him on the radar indeed. Can they advance fast enough? I doubt it. Here's the player coming to his right-hand side, and AZ is going to fall down. They're alerted. And yet again, though, they have the man disadvantage, and this was smart from Freddy B as he tries to find a little more.
Strong plays. Kirby may just be able to punish Freddy as he begins his retreat just around the edge of the smoke. He finds them, equalizes the affair, means that they can have an easier time going towards the B or A bomb site respectively. The B bomb site, for now, open for business. Only the one player in Rusty rotated over. The gate is right next to his opposition in Plopsky. He's in an angle that they may not fully clear out, and the shadows may give them up. They go for the peek, he pre-fires the angle, gets both headshots up close. The Org lethal at that distance. And Valde left alone. 1 versus 3, certainly on the cards. There's nobody on the bomb site. He should be able to get this plant down successfully, but he might overexpose himself. Rusty, oh, he spots him out just at the last moment, and Valde's not left himself enough time to replant this bomb. He went for the strong post plant, but it actually cost him.
You don't really like to see that, do you? I mean, 5-5 is still a bit of a surprise, especially when we take a look at how it was. But again, though, North have a possibility to bounce back anytime soon. Investment is coming in. They go aggressively now. ZZs we're seeing. Valdi on the AK.
And he was one of the instrumental players on Nuke.
Yeah.
Valde was one of the top performers here for North, and sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard for what is this T side currently. Not quite having that same level of impact. Is at least got some support around him. Kirby's had a pretty standout game thus far for North since quieted down, as they've reached a bit of an impasse on Overpass. Good first kill there from he immediately responds, and Plopsky opens the door.
Well, that's a quite easy 6-5 for Ancient. They have now gotten the lead on this. Yet again, I have to say, a minimum of 10 rounds seems reasonable to me. I'm going to really put it that way. For a really solid one, against a team like North, who are so heavily C-decided, this has to be not a minimum, but an ideal. To be an ideal situation, to have a bit of wiggle room. I personally feel that is where you want to see yourself. And, I mean, they see themselves in the right position right now. 6-5, as we mentioned. Ancient got a bit of money accumulated, especially Drake and Rusty, Plopsky, and Discodoppler, and Freddy be the only one who somewhat suffers. And yeah, at that point, I'm not quite sure if we're really gonna see Ancient coming through with victory here.
I'm worried that North have maybe become a little bit too predictable on their T side. They've played out these rounds relatively slowly, obviously in a response to how Ancient are beginning to posture themselves up, taking more brazen peeks in towards middle, taking aggressive connector control as well. They don't want to fall into any of these traps that Ancient are going for in the early stages of the round, but it also leaves them susceptible to some of these late round pieces of utility being deployed. Rusty even makes a solo play in towards Shortwater, and it's successful. Untraded thus far, AZ will try and create space on the B-bomb site, as they're still attempting to crack Rusty down, but he's alive and kicking. Eventually, KRB lines up the trade, equalizing things in a 3-on-3, but North should now be able to get this bomb planted.
Yeah, AZ's positioning is especially crucial in that, because I don't really expect that he's gonna be on the radar for anyone in Ancient. They all got a kit outside of this Discodoppler, so that's nothing to really worry about. All 3 players now need to hold the line. Let Ancient not conquer the castle. And as the defense tries to remain strong, AZ with a little mistake, that's gonna get him killed, but Yugi has an instant reply to that. Kirby sees the both coming closer, and that puts them under pressure. The spray down works to some degree, and North, they gotta deny it, and they're gonna do so. Draken is out, Discodoppler on the pedestal, and now returning back to home. Best move to do. Back there tied up.
Oh, Disco gets the ult delivered to him off the bomb explosion. That's at least a small silver lining in spite of Ancient losing the round. You're acting like a boomerang does end up back into the hands of Ancient, but they've equalized back into that 6-6 scoreline. There's still a lot of money that was accrued from Ancient in previous rounds. That's since dwindled. Draken and Rusty, the only ones that sit above that 1k mark for the CT side, but a good leg shot there from Disco. The nade may finish him off. Down to 7 HP is Yuki, and Freddy B is pushed forward as well.
No.
They're unsuspecting. The double's lined up on a spray.
That's devastating, isn't it? I mean, more falling down to that. A little unfortunate on the other side. So Gate is going to make it over long together with his teammate Kirby, looking to get the control over on the A side. It seems to be as AZ is in a bit of a problem, has to avoid the flames, and is going to be instead shot at the head. And that means retreat seems reasonable. North has no spare money.
At the very least, they'd be able to get the bonus money as a result of all those losses sustained in a row, but this is certainly not ideal, not enough to buy up quite as confidently. Ancient thus far, very strong CT side performances, and that all really catalyzed from that aggression in towards middle. Leg shot from the AWP and the double kill from Freddy made things so much easier on those defenders, and North may not even go for this. Gate and Kirby are making their way back towards T-spawn. They're still walking the distance, and there's only 15 seconds remaining, but Ancient aren't going to give them that much space. Plopsky and Rusty are already on the hunt, and they may be able to track them down if they progress a little bit further.
They didn't hear them. 2 seconds. Oh, you don't want to die after time, do you? Plopsky down. Oh, Rusty is going to peek. And that's no additional money for round number 14. Kirby with 300. What do you do there?
Well, I guess you buy up a P250 and you just hope you get something done.
True.
Oh, he goes for the support play. I fully respect that from Kirby. He buys up a smoke instead of the P250. The Deagle's dropped over from a teammate. That's certainly a different way to have some impact. He could have, yeah, that's the right approach here from North. Definitely talking it out as a team as to that worst case scenario being a reality.
And over in the situation, I mean, a fast-paced play seems inevitable, right? With the Deagles and that UMP you have in your hand, you can't play it that structured as you lose those very typical 1v1s. Talking about that, Plopsky humiliates AZ and Yugi over there on short, and there's no real chance for North as I see it. I mean, immediately.
These are some really strong multi-kills from Ancient.
Yeah.
By and large, all their team is sitting around the same amount of fragging, but they've all had different instances where they've gotten a crucial double kill on a site take or in the mid round. And although that usually does lend itself to one particular player, it's very spread out for Ancient. North have created these opportunities in which they're either peeking together, and which is certainly the right play, but they're spacing themselves a little bit too tightly, and Ancient have been able to spray them down, usually with these AUGs at a decent range, certainly favoring them in the duels. You can see as a result of this weaker buy, they're having to cook themselves up very heavily. This leaves themselves open to counter plays from Ancient into the late round. Of course, it is the last round of the half, so not likely to make that sort of a play, but Disco has 2 guns to choose from.
That's so nice, yeah.
Secondary on the ground.
He's taking it always with him. He put it over there behind the sign on long in case they're approaching him. Now he put it behind the plant boxes over on the A site. In case things are getting hairy, he can still use that. Mortar fire going deep. Could have been a little more damage dealt. And that's a very early molly if you consider there is still 1 minute left on the clock. But the majority of Ancient is holding down the A site. And they rotate over immediately. Reinforcements arrive, and North are still at the end of long. They could rotate through connector if they feel like it, but I don't think they will. Dedicating through. And this will become difficult. First shot from Draken denies further access, and Freddy B is there with the AUG as well. No chance. North can forget about that one.
Yep, again another shutout hold from Ancient as they conclude the first half 9-6. A strong start from North, and really what bought them a lifeline for the second half. If they didn't see success in the early stages, Ancient seemed postured up to take many more rounds on that CT side. And now things will swap over. Ancient will have to prove themselves on that other respective portion of the map, show that they're capable of mounting a successful offense. Meanwhile, North will look to replicate Ancient's performances on the CT side of things. Gade, Kit, Smoke employed, Freddy, P250, as well as a Smoke and a Flash for the Ancient.
You would imagine right now that North is able to prevail. You would imagine right now that this is where no more pretentious clouds are coming their way. Surely they want to come home with a 2-0. Let's see if that's going to happen as AZ is taken out mid-air. This bomb is hitting the ground. Gate technically has the kit, so a 5-second defuse is possible. But first of all, they have to approach the site successfully. And Plopsky, somehow hungry with the Glock, tries to take them all down. Goes for his second already. His third is up for grabs. But in the meantime, Gate and Co want to go for the one-taps, and nobody's peeking out. Ancient just waits. They do 0 mistakes, no aggressiveness at all, and this should grant them the number 10.
Yeah, great patience because nobody's feeling any amount of pressure. They have every position that they could possibly want, and they deliver and get to double digit. Perfectly played to deal with the push there from North, as it was all 3 players being identified as coming in from that graffiti position, and so you saw North had to reapproach it, try and take a different avenue of attack, such that it opened up some opportunities, but they just couldn't land the shots. Another T-side victory on the pistol. And as we get closer and closer to North's first gun round, things will start to look a little bit more scary.
Yeah. I mean, North should never be in an anxious state if you ask me, right? But either way, it needs to be a cunning, solid, and strong CT side from the point on where they have weapons in their hands. Because otherwise, I have to say, don't hate me on that, Ancient is a phenomenal team, but they're simply not in the league of North. And North struggling so much, even though they're a much more CT-sided team, yet again, it's still very odd to see, for me personally. The same way it was weird to see how Nuke actually ended up. That was one of their tightest victories they've got on record against Ancient.
There's certainly a lot riding on these games, so maybe a bit of nerves coming into play, though you wouldn't expect that from a team of North's caliber.
Yeah, exactly.
Disco Upland may get overrun over at B. That is a rifle subjected to North's control, but meanwhile, Ancient secure the A bomb site. I think it's interesting. We've seen already an overdog loss in these 2 games in the winner bracket. Obviously, Crazy overcoming their opponents in Heroic. I'd be interested to see whether Ancient can do the same thing, because they're making it a very close contest.
Yeah, but I would say that Heroic and Crazy are on the same level, honestly. But I think this one, we don't even need to start a discussion about it. Very honestly, North, the top 10 of the world. And now, struggling against Ancient. I mean, surely on the CT side. We start the discussion right now. We start the real battle this moment here. And if North collapses, it will be not only 12-6, they are then on an eco. And this is where the real problems come in. This is where the real struggles start to occur. North needs to bounce back, needs to focus 100% through, and needs to secure a victory right here. Stop the Ancient momentum is the key factor. Period. There's no wiggle room. There's nothing to talk about here.
Yeah, this is a must-win here from North if they want any semblance of a hope coming into the second half. Let's just be, like you said, a 12th and likely a 13th for the Ancient side. A lot of early pressure over towards B. Disco Doppelheim securing as well short water. Meanwhile, Ancient have been poking and prodding in towards middle as well, already in towards the bathrooms, and nobody's really spotted them out yet. KRB is up close and potentially in an angle that could be dangerous. Rusty takes down Yugi and KRB falls as well. North completely split open on the A site. There's only 3 players remaining. They're all located over towards B, and they're just gonna, yeah, likely just gonna save.
I'm honestly speechless to some degree, really. North giving away an opportunity of a victory. We're going to talk about individuals in just a second. In the meantime, taking a look at how many CTs actually can pass through the other round. AZ finds another, same goes for Gate, but there's more threats coming his way. Rusty considers, but says, I'm more the saving kind of guy. Keeps a few spare dollars in his bank account. And this is where we want to talk, Michael, because over the course of now 18 rounds, Yugi and KRB have achieved 13 frags. That's okay. Then Gate, AZ, and Vault, 6, 7, and 2. That is I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is extremely strange to experience right here. And Ancient very balanced with their kills, whilst there are a few just totally shut down on the north side of things.
That's something that we talked about a little bit on Nuke as well.
Right.
And although we saw them kind of fire into things, start contributing on the CT side, that still has yet to happen here for North. You need to see larger impacts from the likes of, like you mentioned, Valde, Gade, and AZ. To show that they're not a weak link that Ancient can exploit.
100%, exactly. This is the thing, right? As you mentioned, in the first half, we saw North having some struggling individuals on Nuke, but they switched it up on when they were switching sides, when they went CT, if I remember correctly. Talking about it yet again, entry comes in favor of Draken. That means Ancient can play with 5, whilst North have to suffer with only 4 individuals on the site. And Plopsky sneaks around toilets. Smoke is just waiting directly in front of him. Oh, the nade directly landing in his face. Vault is ready to do something towards toilets. A double is there. The triple is not going to be long to him. But this now seems like there's a fighting chance for North.
Valde doubling up his frags right there. Just a double kill. Makes things a little bit more close a contest. Ancient, they have enough time to back themselves away towards the B-bomb site, but Plopsky is weakened up and they have a number of angles to clear in doing so. They're scared about the flank and AZ will spring on forward. That will distract the Ancient players. That may allow for Gade to push through if that was to be the play here from North. Should the site be conceded, that would likely be his rotation.
Is the door open though? That's the thing, but not even the most relevant. AZ waits behind truck, 14 seconds, and he needs to hit his shot initially. And it's not gonna make it work. It's going to be the 13th round, isn't it? And follow up. The north side of things is not really having too much left in their bank account.
Gate has a smoke, so he's going to contest this. He's going to try and isolate these duels by throwing that on towards the bomb. I guess they have to fight on towards Draken, but just can't hit the shot. 13 for Ancient. They're a map down in the series, so they need this to stay alive in the winner's bracket. And Ancient may continue their spree on Overpass. You said 11 in a row?
Yeah, 11 in a row, and that is already ridiculous, right? But if your number 12 is actually the win against North, I mean, the thing for me personally is, right, they come home from London, play at ECS, 1 hour flight to Copenhagen, 1.5 hour flight, and so jet lag can't be really a thing. Exhaustion, I don't know how exhausted they are. Then still for me the question is, did they prepare to some degree to some of their opponents, or did they just go in and say go by your own playbook? Like, they knew that they would play Ancient yesterday night, so Had they anything specifically to counter-strat them, to anti-strat them, or do they just play their own playbook? That's for example, the thing I'm asking myself.
Certainly seen no real indication of North counter-stratting them on the CT side of things at the very least, so things still favoring Ancient by and large. The scrappy buy that's come through from the CTs isn't the most ideal. They've got a decent amount of utility. Gate as well with a kit, so should it get into a post plant, that should still be cycled over if not enabled by himself. And Ancient are playing this out slowly. Again, a very calm and methodical approach to these rounds. They've been able to pick North apart in a few instances of this, and we've seen so far no successful defenses from that North side. Good contribution from the players that we'd pointed out, though, in the previous round. Valde, AZ, and Gade all attempting contributions. Oh, Valde's going to get spammed down a little bit. They're definitely aware of that position, and they think it's a little bit suspect that the smoke is deployed so close, so you'll recognize that that may be compromised. He's called for a little bit of backup as well. But for now, Ancient still haven't made any sudden moves. 40 seconds remaining. They still haven't committed to either of these sites.
I mean, except Yugi and his crew are not starting to be going fully ham. It will be a 14-16, very realistically. Rusty finding another frag at the exit of toilets. This Godoblin is going to see a volley to his left-hand side. Yes, indeed. And no casualties on Ancient yet again. Both got body armor, but realistically speaking, nothing is coming through. Looking to get a few more kills, but at least something coming out of 5-7. Gate is hoping. A few more headshots that come his way. And now the situation is retrievable. Problems that could be solved at that point in time as they both try to approach their opponent aggressively. One is faking it through. Gate yet again. He has a kit. He has an opportunity. He has a read. And he's pulling that one through. You just gotta defend your teammate. Oh, Drake is gonna be taken out. And he's gonna be dead. It's gonna be actually AZ. Doesn't even matter. Bomb defused. And finally, it is North showing us a sign of life.
And that crucial bit of utility being picked up by Gade on the half-buy for North. No way that Ancient suspect that a kit's been put into the employment of North in a round like that. Although Draken may try, just too many players to track down at the end there. Caught between two different minds about either just committing towards dealing with that diffuser or fighting off the player that was up close. It's finally a round that goes North's way, but again, we've talked about repeatability, consistency for the CT side defenses and some of these more brazen pushes that we've seen. Nice little kill there from AZ, spamming straight through the wood and in towards connector. Will at least bring an advantage in North's favor. This is dangerous to play with if you're Ancient. They've been playing the rounds out slowly, so North may take more risks as a result. Question is, how risky are they going to play it? They've got 3 players committed in towards long. This is certainly a commitment from the CT side, but Ancient have walked into it. Now they're going to start moving towards B. That's where they've identified the weaker of the 2 sites, but instead they actually, never mind, they're making their way up banana. Topsky and Freddy B have crept their way up, and North may not have an idea that they're this close.
And besides, the defense on the A side isn't that strong. Moldy coming in with the lurk, though, could put Ancient down on 2, and Yugi, he doesn't whiff. Immediately strikes this Godoblin, also down to 2 HP. That round, on paper, it should be over, but never say never, it pretty much is. This Godo down, Freddy trying, has to find 4 other players. And denying the plan would already be something, and it's gonna happen. North on the 8th, and there you see Ancient can technically try to afford once more. I mean, 3 players could basically buy up. Freddy, Drake, and Rusty with a chance, but they go for the pistols reasonably. And North, you would right now expect them to at least pick up the number 9. Then Ancient are back to full force. Then they are back with the right weapons in their hands. It's going to be a long way for those Danes.
Yeah, 5 in a row just to tie things up, and should be an accumulator round. There's a lot of utility here for Ancient should they want to execute in towards the B bomb site, trying to overpower them and close the distance and the gap with the SMGs and pistols alike. Now that's what they'll set up and do. Smokes will come on through. Drake can take a bit of tag damage, but now the push will come on towards the B bomb site north. Not in great positions to line up these crossfires. AC gets 2, but Valde has to contribute at a distance. Disco trades one right back. Suddenly it's Drake in a 1 versus 3. The bomb dropped at the disposal here of North, but he's got a gap to work with around the smoke. Maybe catch one of these players off guard.
I mean, for a second that looked a little bit worrying, right? You saw that they were once more man equalized. And again, back to an alright situation. 39 it is. 8K and SG 553. And, well, if the CTs are now able to cut the case, you know, close that chapter, this is going to be the question, because we saw them struggle so often. Ancient, most definitely a team which you should not underestimate under any circumstance. They're playing good Counter-Strike. They understand their opponent quite well. And yet again, you would expect from North to have a better play in this. But we're in round number 23. Long's going to be taken by Ancient. And what are they going to do with that piece of information and that piece of control?
Yeah, North are at least aware that this is a possibility. Valde spotting and jump spotting from that bank position. Make sure that if there is a lurking play here from Ancient, that they have eyes on that position. So towards Long will at least prompt a counter Molotov from that CT side. Without sweating, however, Kirby in a very one-undone angle. Klopsky able to capitalize.
That's a little weird.
The trade would have been there in spite of him getting that kill as well. So very awkward and very strange position to be held, but almost caught Ancient off guard.
Oh, that is once more suffering from North. AZ got to clean the situation up just by himself. Another smoke to be thrown. Plopsky could consider to spray through anytime soon. He's trying to do this pretty much on his own and bait a bit of information. Whilst we see on the other side of the map, Gate is pushing through. This Godoplin is going to knock on the back door. And that's it. That's going to be round number 14 pretty surely. AZ running away from the action. Christ's sake. No, honestly, I mean, this is a little odd to me. I appreciate it so much, and I love how Ancient is fighting here, because I know how much they want this, and I know how much spirit and how much time they have put into it. Whilst from North, I mean, probably everybody here, 90% of the people would say, oh, it's a 2-0. Oh, Ancient fighting good, but it's a 2-0, right? And that is something I'm so astonished and amazed, and at the same time, extremely confused by North.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really fighting for much map control. Ancient have taken, although Yugi's gone for this pick in towards middle a few times, they've quite often given up that position, quite often falling back towards the site. So we saw a nice little setup where they played predominantly towards long. But by and large, they haven't been dynamic in how they've set up on the CT side, and so it's a fairly easy approach for Ancient to be able to adapt to, playing out the rounds as slowly as they can. In almost every single one of these rounds, they're waiting for these mid to late round rotations from that CT side. And just by throwing a few nades, spamming a few of these players down, it's doing a lot to make sure that North don't have that much information to work off of. Typically, that's why you play aggressive on the CT side of Overpass, is that you can start to cheat rotations over, maybe even get players into flanking positions and stack one of these bomb sites that you feel may be the intended target of your opposition. By and large, fairly stagnant, and Ancient have certainly capitalized. Maybe just shy of a 15th, that may still be on the horizon as Ancient look to progress up towards long, and it's a very alone Kirby towards the end of bathrooms.
As it's all more focused towards the A sites, Plopsky advanced quite far already. Yugi definitely spotted him, and it's gonna fall down to the top of Draken. He's quite on point today. His accuracy and his precision is everything that Ancient needs. And so, as I closed my mouth, things are looking a little bit more darker at that point in time. And as the clouds are coming over the side of A, look at the timing here. Michael, this might not be working. The bomb plant gonna be fully denied. Rusty taken out last second.
Great hold there from North, making sure to hold on to those positions on towards the site, being huge nuisances that just couldn't track down the trades on the side of Ancient, and that slow approach actually cost them far too little time to fully clear out the site. They couldn't get the bomb planted either. And North for now secure double digits. Pistols come out for Ancient in response, looking some semblance of damage, some semblance of control in their favor. He'll cheat past the Molotov and look to overwhelm Yugi, who has typically been positioned in middle. He'll hit the first though. Oh, the second as well through the wall. Surely not Yugi. Still trying to get every single one of these kills as he retreats, but Plopsky eventually tracks him down. Valde and Kjerby will sweep things under the rug. A great performance there from Yugi to have as much impact as that, given how quickly those Ancient players were trying to hunt him down.
And this is where it's only 5 more rounds for North and 2 for Ancient. We saw a comeback back on Nuke as well. And just to remind everybody who freshly joined us in, it was 16-14 for North, and they started to run back once their opponent has reached 14. Then they got 7 consecutive rounds. I don't know why they have to do it that late. And on the other side, if they get an understanding that late and still make it work, it's a plan that works. It's a shaky plan, but it's one that works. And Ancient, with hardly any money left in their bank accounts, their wallet is fairly slim, not much left in the follow-up to get done for them. As though surely, I mean, losing bonus is starting to get better and better, and I mean, it has reached its max, yet it will not be too much left, and North, they gain this momentum.
Again, it's going to be long control taken here from that Ancient side. Again, this lurk smoke is well deployed, means that North will have minimal amounts of information in that position. It could be 1, it could be all 4 there for the T's. Yuki's been sharp on the AWP. He's been a pinnacle player here for that North side to be able to pull things forward. The Ancient, they're already postured up for the A side hit. They're going to push on forward.
What again? Oh. How does he do this? Once more he finds that the nade goes deep, and that is NBA's finest coming out of the Danish region. This is just amazing. In the meantime, it's painful as well. Yugi's not really realizing that a player's just behind him, and he's gonna be taken out. Draken is under pressure. Draken is performing though, and that ball play needs to be denied. Freddy B, he has to be dead in a millisecond. And that's enough. Just again, on the edge.
That is such a close round. Yugi gets a collateral. The nade as well from, like you said, way downtown to cover Yugi as he'd held that position. And a very commendable effort from Draken to make that competitive so close. A crucial clutch 1 from AZ, however, will keep North in this, prevent Ancient from getting to a comfortable 15 where they can start to think about maybe overtime or at least converting 1 more round for the win, forcing a map 3. For now, it will just be pistols, though. Ancient looking to overwhelm these players in middle, and Kjerby's fallen. Yugi able to retreat, however, with the 1 kill.
He's doing so much.
He has been extremely impactful for this North side. All in the meanwhile, Gade's crept in from behind. He's pushed all the way through B, and so he at least locks out that possibility for Ancient. Soon going to be able to line up a backstab as well onto Plopsky, potentially more.
Oh, there you go. I mean, no real problem. Bomb dropped. Michael, they're getting close. They're getting extremely, extremely close. Skate is eliminating Young Nicolas Gonzalez in the end. This would be ridiculous. I have to be honest with you, this would be once again ridiculous. I don't want to see this happening because Ancient was fighting it for it so hard. And the good part is, right, they are not eliminated after this. In case they lose, they're not eliminated. They're just heading to the lower bracket where I think with the performance they're showing us today, they'd possibly survive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, very strong performances thus far, getting into advantageous positions against North, but so far the tenure of these players,
ouch,
very hard to beat past, and the nade will make things even more uncomfortable for Ancient, down to 50 and 60 HPs on a number of Ancient players. Weakened up for these ults at a distance. Freddy B, though, very sharp headshot to start things off.
And immediately punishment, though. Coming in to humiliate another Plopsky over long, and this is dangerous. Yugi has information. Oh, and this AWP is definitely disabled for long enough. Definitely disabled, and so what you're seeing right here is just another retake initiated by North. Kirby is getting a good frag. Damage has been dealt over on long. They need to find another. That would be Draken, but they're aware. Get the defuse rolling, and you got it done.
They jump on that, make sure to try and cover him to the best of their abilities, and it's once again Draken in an AWP clutch that he just cannot pull off with the bomb being diffused right under his nose. It's so difficult to deal with, have to try and balance between those fights, try and balance between those angles and use the cover to your advantage, and he just didn't have enough time to play with. Like you said, North recognizing that immediately jumped on the defuse for that particular instance. And they've done it. They've bridged the gap. They're up to 14. Suddenly we're looking at a position in which Ancient may just lose the lead. You see North at 15 before their opposition, and that would be devastating if you're an Ancient fan.
Talking this through. And that... it's probably Barbar once we're doing one of his classic speeches.
And that was initially a really good fake from Ancient as well.
Yeah.
They had the pieces to make that round work.
I mean, it was, and if I remember correctly, the bomb has been planted. They still had 4 players alive, right? And there you think this can't be held down quite good. In the end, they got bamboozled, and Ancient 2 rounds away. 2 rounds away from bringing this on a third one. But North have delivered yet. With one after another, after another, after another. Might be a deja vu, which is a very unhappy one and a very unsatisfying one for Plopsky and co. But we're going to see. In the meantime, North need to figure a way to understand where their opponent is coming from without having any casualties, because Draken could be finding a Kirby anytime soon.
Yugi, very cheeky smoke there, has a gap to play with as well.
Oh no.
May catch them out. Good nade on towards Disco Dopplan as well. They're softened up opponents. There's a lot of damage done for the North camp already, and Kirby finds Draken. That's the lurking pressure of A, now alleviated for the CT side. Valde even spams Freddy B down. Suddenly North have a huge man advantage moving forward. Ancient still posturing up for the B hit, and only 35 seconds to make this work.
And you take a look at it, Rusty's still pushing through, but the rest of the players should be eliminated anytime soon. As I say it, Volley, the only one to make a difference. He does. And you have to say, Volley has been starting to wake up massively. The man was on the bottom of the scoreboard for an eternity, and now he's back on the server. North is a round away from getting a win on Overpass. Their map pick, their decision, and then their 2-0, which would result in them getting in the right direction.
Yeah, Valde was on 2 frags at the start of this half. He now sits along the top side of the scoreline with 19, 8 assists as well behind him. He's had a phenomenal half to bring North forward. Alongside players like Yugi, Gade and AZ as well have woken up in that same regard. All the pieces there for North.
all the
And
pieces.
Ancient, they're going to be shortchanged in this round. Look at the buy. It's SMGs, Deagle. They don't have the most amount of utility. Just the one flashbang to try and make a sight hit successful.
Oh, this is dangerous though. Kirby gonna turn around anytime soon. Does he realize that he's in danger? Draken just nearby. He's gonna take him out. That's the bomb eliminated. But behind him, already 2 players. They're not coming around yet. Another smoke. They don't have any idea. But Yugi strikes Kirby as well. And it's only this Godoplo with 10 HP. It's the same story, Michael. It's the exact same as on map number 1. And this is a heartbreak. Nothing else than a heartbreak.
What a performance from North, even when you think they may subject themselves to a loss, even when you think maybe Ancient will have done it, getting themselves a map win, they persevere through thick and thin. It's again a close scoreline on our second map, but that's it. That's the 2-0.
This is so unfortunate. I don't believe it, but I mean, that's it for the moment. We're heading into a little break, and more likely we're heading off tonight. On my side was Michael Yumi Cassidy. My name is Sesht. I see you guys another time here on the StarLadder channel.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.